Hey, Dr. Jenna Scare here, Doctor of Physical Therapy, to help you specifically with your back pain, because I hear that happens a lot, right? Do you ever experience getting that kind of dull ache? Maybe it starts to come on as you're working, as you're sitting for a long time. If that's you, comment below, let me know what you experience. What do you feel in your back pain when this starts to happen? Now, there's so many different reasons why you could be having back pain. A ton. And we're not going to dissect that right now because ultimately I think it's most important to really assess what's happening within your body rather than just guessing. And I can't just pinpoint, oh, here's the back pain, here's what you do for where it is. Because the reality is our body all works together, truly. So even if you're feeling a lot of tension in the low back, it could be a hip issue, meaning a lack of range of motion here. If your hips aren't moving very well, what's going to take on? Your low back is going to start to move a little bit more. If your hips aren't strong, your low back's going to start to take over and help out a little bit more. If your upper back isn't moving very well, your low back is going to take on a lot of pressure. So you see how it's not just one thing. It's not just strengthening the low back, and it's definitely not just stretching. However, a lot of these stretches that we do around the spine, maybe even into the hips, can really help to relieve a lot of pressure in that back. So that's ultimately what we're gonna do. Take this as your mobility flow that gets you out of your desk and working, that gets you moving and feeling something different, because you can do it all standing. And I'm gonna walk you through it right now, and I promise, be intentional with it, move slow. You don't have to push into any ranges that you're not comfortable with, but breathe, listen to your body, and I promise there just might be a chance that you start to feel something different. So the first one is really just waking up the back of the hamstrings and unlocking the pelvis. So here, I'm gonna unlock the knees and dive the pelvis forward into my thighs. So I really wanna think of almost sticking my booty out and diving my hip bones forward as I lean forward into as much of a stretch as I can tolerate. You'll feel that right around the hamstrings. So a lot of people complain of chronic tight hamstrings. This is one way to just start to get into them throughout the day. So I'll have my knees just unlocked a little bit, diving those hip bones into the thighs, and just moving nice and slow here. So you'll do about 5 to 10. Okay, no specific number, it's really just up to your body. You can even come down, hold a little bit more, rock side to side, explore different movement patterns and different range within your body. That's really what's most important. Then we're gonna go into a standing cat-cow. So for this one, you're gonna have your hands on your knees, so similar to a cat-cow on all fours, but this time we're gonna breathe in, pull the shoulder blades back, try to arch into the back as much as possible. Breathe out, press into the thighs here, and round as much as you can. Breathing in, opening, pressing, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And you just move within whatever range you have available. So maybe it's not very big, right? It could be a little bit smaller. That's okay. Just starting to wake up the back, help it to feel more alive, and then help it to increase and slowly inch into maybe an improved range of motion. The next one is one of my favorites. Not gonna lie, it just feels so good. So this is more of like a QL stretch. So getting into that, a lot of people complain of so much tightness into that QL, or it's diving one hip higher. First of all, we've done a podcast on the Optimal Body podcast about hip shifting and one hip higher than the other. I suggest you go listen to that because it's not just a simple crack and you're good. No. Go listen to it. So for this one, I'm gonna dive my leg below or behind, and I'm gonna actually have my hand on the inside of my knee as much as possible. The other arm is gonna reach over. And as I start to lean, I wanna push my knee into my hand. What this does is it helps to create some stability and support around that pelvis as I'm opening up the side here and creating mobility in my trunk. So stability by pressing this knee in and then opening here. So hold it for about 2 to 3 breaths and then coming out and switching. I think you do about 5 on each side, 3 to 5 on each side. And what we neglect sometimes is opening on the side, right? We do a lot of stretches forward and back, but we don't get enough time and attention to the sides of the body, which is so important to really open up space in that rib cage, create space in the back, and take off some of the pressure that you might be having into that low back. Remember, stretching isn't everything, but it helps to relieve some of the symptoms that you're feeling, which is ultimately what we're doing. We're reducing symptoms of pain, tension, dual achiness, any of that. Okay? Next and last one, we're just gonna rotate through that upper back. So now I'm gonna place my elbow down toward my knees, and then I'm gonna open out. And as I do this, I wanna kind of cut my knee and push my knee out. So again, stability at the hip and the pelvis as I rotate and twist for my upper back. So switch, press this knee into my hand. You can breathe in, you can breathe out, you can play with different breath patterns and kind of see what feels best within your body. You can hold it and breathe for a moment. It's okay. And just switching. Oh my goodness, I already feel so much more alive and better and like taller just by doing those 4 exercises. So do them, comment below. Do you feel something different? Were any of them a little bit challenging? Maybe you needed to decrease the range of motion. Again, that's okay. Just come back to it over and over and over again. The more we move in our body, the more availability we have to feel something different. If you love what you're learning, don't forget there's so much more that I have in store. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos so that you don't miss anything and you continue to learn and feel amazing within your body.